I'd like to talk about a vessel that we have available in Tampa, Florida that's a really unusual ship, and the price was just lowered on it. So I want to do an update on it. I've covered it before, but first, as a point of reference, I want to talk a little bit about Ragnar. And Ragnar is quite a well-known, because of the yachting press, a well-known icebreaker expedition yacht. And it's important to actually understand that a lot of the expedition yachts that are so-called ice class are only certified to go into very thin ice, the kind of ice you'd find maybe around a vessel in the morning after anchoring in cold weather. When they actually go into the Arctic and Antarctic, they got to stay away from any sort of serious ice. Whereas an icebreaker yacht has a much higher classification, and it can actually navigate into up to a meter thick of ice, and it goes up onto the ice and then breaks it. And it has also the ability to get back out again, and that's really important. We'll talk about that later. But for those that aren't familiar with Ragnar, it has purely commercial bone. It was a vessel that was laid up in the Netherlands before Icon Shipyard took it over. And they did a really stellar conversion of it. And here you can see a little bit of the work they did on it. So I'm guessing that the value of the commercial vessel that was laid up was somewhere between $3 and $5 million maximum. And when it came out of the shipyard, it went on the market at 69 million euros. And it sold for whatever price near that they paid for it. So that gives you a pretty good idea of the step up in value from the commercial vessel to the yacht. And so I wanted to make that point before we talk about the boat in Tampa, because I think it could have a similar trajectory in terms of how it can be converted, and also what the yacht market would consider to be the final value of the vessel once it is converted. So here's Grant Moen's conversion design concept for our vessel that's in Tampa. And I think it's a much more sort of rugged expedition design than you saw in Ragnar, and a lot cooler actually. But let's hear what Grant has to say.
This vessel is an seismic vessel, has huge internal volume, usually because they have a huge enclosed garage on the back here to handle all the seismic equipment. This particular vessel is already ice classed. It was built to work up in the Barents Sea, up north of Alaska, the White Sea. The foredeck here has been enclosed so the crew can work in harsh conditions. We've added bridge wings onto the bridge here for navigation in ice, and you've got this nice sunroom for guests here. You have lots and lots of space for owner and VIP cabins here, and guest cabins along this deck. Huge overhead here for lounge and dining as well. Down the back here you have masses of space inside this garage for swimming pools and viewing decks and helicopter hangars, and space for large scale helicopter and large scale tenders here. On this design I've had the owner's cabin and VIP cabin up on either side here, large full length windows, and then easy access down here to the main living areas, which is, you know, probably a 15-16 foot ceiling in here for your dining room and your main lounge area. The sun deck up here, hot tub, pool, another hot tub down the back here, and of course access to the helicopter. This existing structure is on the boat already, this large garage here, which once again is used to house all the seismic equipment and the stern here. But you can see it's just got acres and acres of room here for development into whatever the owner's requirements are. You could put a helicopter hangar athwartships here with a retractable elevator. You've got access here into the tenders from the main garage deck here. A lot of these expedition vessels that are ice class, they don't actually have a braking bow, but this has the cutaway forefoot that continues under the waterline here for riding up onto the ice and using the ship's weight and forward momentum to lay down on the ice and split it as they steam along.
So I'm going to jump in here with a little commentary. This is a tank test of an ice-breaking hull, and it's going through a meter of ice here, and you can see how that hull shape works to actually get up and crush the ice. And this is not a capability that ice class yachts have. And for safety, you have to be able to get back out of the ice. And so these vessels are equipped with special azipods that can go in reverse through the ice. And this gives you the ability to get back out of the ice, which is very important for safe exploration in Arctic environments. So let's take a look at our vessel that is in Tampa right now. It was actually built in Canada, and it was originally a search and rescue Arctic vessel. It was subsequently refit to go up into the ice to do research, and it has a helicopter pad there for a Bell 212, a heavy helicopter. We're going to start our tour here on the main deck aft, which is all enclosed. It was enclosed to accommodate all the research equipment that they used in the Arctic, and this can be completely taken off, or parts of it could be saved, such as the heli-deck. And it also has plenty of room to be an aircraft hangar, as you'll see.
So this was a survey vessel.
Yep.
So they pull a spread with compressed air,
Yep.
and they do seismic surveys for exploration. The overhead for this deck, the way it's configured now, is actually this height here.
On a conversion, you could certainly keep the forward section of this structure as a aircraft hangar, and also to keep a couple of tenders, say 250 footers. You could also keep the heavy duty aft section of it where the Bell 212 helipad is. Now we're going forward on the main deck into what is mainly crew accommodation.
Fire protection equipment like fire suits, and this is like a control room for the guns.
To control the hoses and the line.
All of these offshore support vessels are set up for long range and also high endurance. So they expect to be at sea for 30 days or more. They have big walk-in refrigerators, and behind the main refrigeration unit here is a walk-in freezer unit. This vessel was originally built as an Arctic search and rescue vessel in Vancouver, Canada. The vessel is currently arranged to support up to 39 crew and scientists and support personnel living on board for 30 plus days. So that means that the galley, all the accommodations, the showers, all the systems, the wastewater systems, the gray water system, black water, heating system, air conditioning system are all set up for that level of personnel living on board. So that is more than we will need when this is converted into being an expedition yacht.
So crew lounge.
As expected, there are a lot of crew cabins. They're dispersed across 3 deck levels, and some of these will actually be converted over to become support areas when the vessel is repurposed. For instance, there would likely be a crew gym, larger crew lounges, and I should mention that there is also a ship's hospital on board, and this will be kept intact because that is a very useful and practical thing to have on a long-range expedition vessel. So now we are up on the bridge, and these are enormous bridges. That was the navigation section that we just looked at there. Walking forward, here is a list of the electronics that are on board. It's everything that you need to cruise the world, and there is redundancy in all the systems on these vessels. Typically on a conversion, there's plenty of room up here to put in a lounge so that the owner and guests can observe and participate in the navigation and the running of the ship. So the multi-million-dollar question that I'm asked all the time is, how much is it going to cost to convert this former polar ice class search and rescue vessel into a global expedition yacht with a helipad, a hangar, and all of the amenities that one would expect in a world-class expedition yacht? 6 staterooms at least, plenty of toys, and the endurance and yacht quality accommodations. Well, I can tell you our calculations are somewhere between $15 and $20 million for a basic global expedition yacht. And we'll leave it to our clients to do the math, but if you're curious about this and would like to contemplate doing such a project, please get in touch.